Starting to learn.
So Nishbere na Kale Bukhol, if you broke in the weekdays, the Zorka na Ashman Bedion, threw out in the garbage, who said a Tauber of the Shabbos? Once you threw out in the garbage Friday, you cannot be metal to Shabbos Lamed.
Didn't we just learn garbage we let it move last week?
What?
Garbage is not books that we just learned last week.
Garbage itself is books the garbage.
Garbage can.
Garbage can. Garbage can. And I want to say, I said it to do with Pashat Nashtabolo, right? But someone showed me a sefer, because people listen to this. Someone came to me to my shul and showed me a sefer that claims that food you throw into the garbage is Muktzeh. I said,
so we were speaking, that's what we were talking about.
And Chatishka smiles, but I don't know what that sefer is, I don't know what the right is. But if food, I said the raya, my raya is that if you put seeds into the ground, and the Gemara says, you put seeds into the ground, you plant it, and as long as it didn't take roots, then I'll literally pick it up from the ground and to eat it. Because when a person comes to food, we are all there. That's how it is.
Even in the garbage.
Yes, because people do take to be homeless. And nobody's lucky with that. What if it's inedible? As long as it's edible, right. Because we do throw out a lot of edible things.
But if it's not edible?
If it's not edible, I'm talking about it. We're talking about people throw out. I told you, someone showed me a few years ago in the LA Times says that in LA, you throw out food the day after Thanksgiving, you could feed the third world country just on the food you throw out. The leftover turkey and who knows what was left over. So I'm saying, so food. Anyways, we're talking about not a non-food. Talking about a keli that broke, he threw away Erev Shabbos, or as I said last week, even something this a chat pami, how we call the disposable, something disposable. Your wife decided to throw it out. It's Muktzeh. Like I explained, the wrapper is Muktzeh that you throw out because it has no. It's like a broken keli. Even though certain people use it twice. My wife, we live in a tight budget, we like to use it twice or three times, but but if you did it, or guy just throw it out the first time, it is called Muktzeh. It's very important. People don't realize. Some months you throw into the garbage, it becomes Muktzeh. So if you throw out a soda can into the garbage, Erev Shabbos, it becomes Muktzeh. Soda, the soda bottle, the empty bottle. That also makes it Muktzeh.
Well, in common with the greatest that I had, we asked him oil, negated a knife, and he showed us, he was a Baruch Hashem another bris yesterday, that he has a disposable moil's knife.
Who has this?
Not like a fireman. To avoid Muktzeh, but the question is, how does that avoid Muktzeh?
Well, once
if it's
finished,
chatami, it's disposable, so you use it once.
You could still use it.
Use it again.
Well, most Malam, this is the new day.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But most Malam don't have disposable. Until 10 years ago, it wasn't clear.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing. So that was the question.
So it's still a keli shalach to this. It's not.
It's not a case. But now Rabbi Tauber saying something is disposable after you throw it out.
Yeah,
So he doesn't throw it into
but I'm just saying the more problem is the Rabbi is very machmir. I'll put up afterwards. He's from the machmir. But you have to say the tenets that I saw 30 years ago when I first learned this was because no one's going to be a mother if you can't take the knife. But nowadays the moshav became a business, a parnasa. They make it for parnasa. I say publicly it's the greatest thing, because whenever it's a parnasa and there's competition, the more is better do a good job. And if not, you're not going to use him. Even though you're Chabad, and he's a Chabad. But if you have the smell that he's not doing a good job, I always say competition is the best of the best. I told the Chabad guy, I asked him, does he have to write? Yeah, I'm not Chabad, so don't confuse me. He has a right to open a girls' school. There was a guy who wanted to open a competition, and the girls' guy says, you do a great thing for Chabad. Because you open another girls' school, the other girls' school would behave. I don't know, I don't know the problem. So there's nothing as good as competition. Always the, you know, even Chabad, you can have competition, will make the schools better. You know, so is that way.
The garbage is Muktzeh. Your garbage can in your kitchen is mostly full, and you forget to take it out before Shabbos. And you can't have to prepare the bag now, right? It's a bus, it's a double bus.
You missed the whole sheet last week again.
I'll catch up with you.
And I explained, I won't explain it briefly. And I explained, let me just explain this what I said. I said that we follow the Rishonim who hold you don't say on garbage buses. Let me just repeat what he asked me. People ask me this now. We spoke about last week. There's a din, the table, Friday night when you light the candles, you put a challah on the table, right? Everyone has to put. So if the case after the light, the burning the candles, you want to pick up the table, move it, you should be able to do it. Everyone knows this is an old Jewish tradition. The challah has to be on the table. Because otherwise, if the lachtas was only on the table, if you want to move the table, you cannot move the table. It's a buses to the table. So I'm sure many shoes is that they will make a simcha, the things were burning on the thing, you cannot move it. So this is negay often. So the question is, why isn't that the garbage can of buses the garbage? If you threw out garbage right before Shabbos, there is an opinion that says on Shabbos it doesn't become the buses. That's an opinion. And I think that Avos is from those that hold that way. But the question is, Erev Shabbos, you threw garbage into the can, it should become a buses. You know, very often, right before Shabbos, the wife has garbage over there. The answer is this, that we hold that garbage does not make buses. It's not choshev. Buses means that the table is meshamish. Meshamish means it's serves. The table is serving something, but not by garbage. That's how you have to say the minigol, because everyone takes out the garbage. If someone else asks me, what happens if the garbage is full? You know, let's say you want to take the whole garbage bag, which is Muktzeh. But that you're allowed to do, otherwise it becomes a graf sharei. That's a whole separate halacha. If it becomes disgusting, you're allowed to move Muktzeh when things becomes disgusting. So I said, someone asked me this last week, I said you cannot walk your dog. I forgot someone asked me afterwards.
Lift or walk?
What problem is you have to walk the dog.
You have to clean it up.
How do you say in English?
Yeah.
So you got to pick it up. It's Muktzeh. There's nothing you can do about that. I don't know.
Don't pick it up.
Yeah, but certain neighbors, the certain guy told me this.
What is it? You can have people back to the dog?
No.
It's Muktzeh Shabbos.
on your own.
I said, but in your backyard. Who wants to tell me it's a problem?
I asked you.
You're the one who, someone said he has a problem in the backyard because...
There's raccoons and whatever. Every time I come out there, the kids want to play in the shops afternoon, and there's always like stuff from cats and raccoons and whatever.
That you could pick up if the children didn't play there. That's disgusting. But you have a dog too.
No.
But if a guy has a dog, I want to say this again. You're allowed to walk a dog even though there's no aid with a leash. It's a big mistake people don't know you're not allowed to. You're allowed to do without a question. But
It's a mission.
yeah, but the question is, can you pick up the poo? Now there's Muktzeh. There's no heter for that. You know, you're only picking it up because you don't want to get fined. So, you know, walk in the backyard. What do you say? Yeah, well, how do you do klachayah? He asked me, I said, I know what he asked me now. I said, I told him, why didn't you ask your neighbor? One of the children, pay them a few dollars and they'll walk the dog for you, Shabbos. Children love to do that.
I mean, a lot, which is not.
It's not a problem you're carrying the leash and you're walking the dog.
It's the reason it's not called carrying, really, because the leash is considered a baggage for the dog. That's why.
It's a famous mice.
Famous mama,
The story is on this.
On this one.
Well, on this
Well, it's on the
on the
Mishnah,
Mishnah.
it's all Torah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Were you allowed to take the tablecloth off the table and to shake it out on Shabbos?
Well, what's Muktzeh do?
I know there's garbage on the table.
That's a real garbage. The Mishnah
Yeah.
says we pass you not to do it.
Or
Let's
even
say-
the disposable tablecloths with food
That's
on it.
proper, yeah.
So let's say yes, in shuls they have a lot of food kiddush as well. So even if let's say a real muktzeh, we like to do it on
Eggshells and stuff.
Eggshells, you know. And when I was young, years ago, every shul they people put nuts and shells and they stopped doing it. But you're allowed to. That's a mission. You're allowed. That's called tiltum and don't let it work. It's a whole lot. You're allowed to do it. Okay.
Thank God.
Okay, so zog der Rabbi, nicht bekehren, ich habe gesagt, als wir gewusst haben, was Shabbos, kiel schickt so ist, man chasses bekehren. Macht so ist, make kisse bitlu so into the scale, so it's Muktzeh. Viele im hier real aniam, kisse kele. And he could use it in Shabbat, he was gesagt, als bekennt, noch sie betalt, bechalani shabiyolo, shakre chabach, kmosh izbah. So maybe if you throw out a disposable can, disposable pan, even though it might be in a neighborhood with, I could imagine Yerushalayim, here in LA, rich people, one neighborhood, but in Yerushalayim, I have a guy who used to live in my neighborhood who bought himself a whole penthouse. He has 2 floors that he lived on. And so a guy over here, his son lives around the corner from him in a tiny apartment. So, he throws out probably good caleb. And his garbage, you could, but since he threw it out, the disposable pan, so his garbage is Muktzeh now. Nothing to talk about. It's Muktzeh. That's what they're saying. Very important. I don't care if another person would want it, but since he threw it out, Erev Shabbos becomes Muktzeh. The guy took out the garbage Erev Shabbos, then it's not a problem. Understand? That's the okay. So the Rabbi on Zorker Ashba b'Shabbos. If you dispose it on Shabbos, then it's not a problem. On Shabbos, you throw out food or disposable something, or a soda bottle you throw out, it does not become Muktzeh. On Shabbos, you throwing it out doesn't have to make it Muktzeh. So the Rabbi, Loi, Chodu Amnishim, Rui Lechasi Bekeyesh Toris Keli, and Shiva Keli Bavar, only Sheva Keli, Hoyever Kvarale Toris Keli Gumisho Ishleiman, since it was a complete Keli, Chen Lo Nifka Man, doesn't lose the Shem Keli, Afshe Shanish Beri, even though it broke, Imeruyen Adan Chisi, since you could use it for coverage. He's saying very simple. Even though we just said something that breaks, since you could cover a keli with it, it's only something that was a keli. As long as you don't throw it into the garbage, the broken piece, it's not Muktzeh because it's possible you might use it for covering something. But just because you have a raw piece of wood in the back, in the yard, in the garage, you cannot bring it in and use it for something. It's Muktzeh. I don't have, we live, Baruch Hashem, and we learn such a halacha, we have to thank the Rabbi. I don't know. I'm trying to think about a marshal. You go into your garage, take out a piece of wood to use for what? Everything we do today is special made for this, special made for that. Everything is
Disposable moils knife.
yeah.
If some kalim broke during the week and you put them in your shed, they're just broken pieces, and on Shabbos you have a plot that you need covers.
And that's okay because you put it away to use it. A raw wood, which never was a keli, is Muktzeh. So he brings down the Rav says, and in his days this was a terrible mission. I don't know what it means. They used to use a piece of board to lay on it, whatever. Just take it out of the garage, extra piece of wood to use to lay on it. Just because you decide to, it's Muktzeh, because it was raw material. Raw material is Muktzeh. If it was a keli, it broke, then it's not. Aber they noch mit the cold tilt to Muktzeh, I last week mentioned this Rav. The Rav says before you're not allowed to tell this kula out for the maratzim. So I say anyone who comes to learn is not a moritz anymore. because why should you tell this from Ratzim? Because you told them you're allowed to have a goy and tell the Muktzeh. Next thing you know what's going to happen, people are going to say, forgo everything. Unfortunately, people have a maid, a little maid. I know my neighborhood, many people have, many people still have a full-time maid of Shabbos. They think that everything is okay Shabbos. I have to keep, I'm telling them, children get married, they learn a little bit, and always tell them, when I became Rabbi of the Shul, I had a big fight with one of the rich people who was a Talmid Chacham, he's not alive anymore. His shiksa every morning, Shabbos morning, would give him fresh orange juice. Not bought orange juice. This was, she would make him fresh juice. So I tried to tell him, it can't be. The shiksa does it. I don't do it. But they had a Hilchos, and for weeks he was trying to weasel himself out. Finally he said he liked it, It was, then I slowly. And one of the things I must say, and people remind people, many people have the shiksas cooked and they don't realize it's mamish b'shalakim. Someone just told me that he has a sufi if his father's second wife is Jewish enough. I'm not sure. A big she's Jewish. And she comes over, she's very nice, very nice, they get along. His wife with his stepmother get along very well. But Vachai says, tell you I've just put on the flame. Otherwise she cannot cook. That's a problem of Bishalakim, because if you have a shiksa who cooks, it often becomes Bishalakim. It's a separate issue, you have to be very, very careful.
On this thing that the Alter says, could a guy, does it apply to carrying on Shabbos as well? Can a guy, so maid cannot carry for you on Shabbos?
Maid cannot carry for you on Shabbos.
So if there's no air, for example, in a location, could the maid walk your kid to Shabbos?
That's a big problem. They cannot walk the
with the Rabbanim that say that you could just say what they say. They say is like this, that since carrying from one Rosh Hashanah directly to another Rosh Hashanah, it's not an Issa D'Oraisa. And theoretically, says my kavanah is not for the shiksa to stop in the middle of the street. She's beginning in my house. That's what and she's ending up in shul. It's even shayach b'poil mamash if she chaps all the red lights. So just because she stopped in the street, I didn't ask her to do that. That's shvachet. All right. Yeah, what's
mitzvah?
Going to shul, taking a kid to shul.
The lady going to shul?
Taking the kid to shul.
I get this one. See, Chabad people come to shul all the time. When there's a simcha, you made a simcha, if you remember Yankee, his brother-in-law called me, said there's no Erev, and you made a bar mitzvah, and I think one of your brother-in-laws called me and wanted to know that they have a baby, if they could have a shiksa. I says, listen, the Erev is a good Erev. You don't want to carry, it's okay, but for sure you can be serving telling the shiksa.
But there's no Erev.
When there is no Erev, the Rav says very clearly in a few places, it has to be a tzayir god. And he talks about carrying each other. A real tzayir. Not just, I want to.
My wife will be very upset.
Yeah, that's not a tzayir, honest. No, this is a very important question.
But we learned about Muktzeh, it's okay, right?
No, this is a very good question. People always say this to me. My wife is going to be annoyed. Feelings have no place. The wife is going to be annoyed. And the reason for this is because the tzayir has to be not the annoying of a person. The tzayir has to be this tzayir Shabbos. Let's say if she cannot come to the Suda because she's nursing the baby, she cannot come to the Suda, there's no one but that. Everyone's going to the Sheva Bruchas, I tell the people. If she's not, that's terrible. Sit home alone, her husband and the children Sheva, she's going to be stuck with them. That's called a huge tzayir Shabbos. Who's going to know who's going to take care of the baby? But very often that's not the situation. Very often they want to come to shul. They don't come to daven. They come to socialize.
No. They come to daven, but we tell you,
they don't have the mind to show off the clothing. The kids that's a problem. That's not a if a sheva bruchas, I say it's a heter. It's a if you don't have a babysitter, or she can't have a babysitter, often they can, the baby's nursing, that's a real tzayir. So she should stay home with the children takes away the whole simple Shabbos.
She should use the Erev, or she should have
that he has to ask his local rabbi.
There's no Erev.
There is no
asking the shiksa to take the baby.
There is no Erev. That's not the case when there is no Erev. So that is a big tzedek. That is called the tzedek because besides Muktzeh is a special head. Besides Muktzeh, the shvus has to be. If I remember well, the Rav holds a tzedek gudel, not some tzedek. The Shmuel doesn't say tzedek.
But Rabbi,
always showed
if
that
it's
it's
the
not.
mitzvah, forget about tzedek. It's a mitzvah.
Yeah, but what makes the mitzvah? See, she's going to enjoy Shabbos meal. She's not going to go hungry. If you have a sheva brachas and your wife cannot go to the sheva brachas, she's going to have what to eat. So it's not. That's not called mitzvah. It's just called a tzedek because that is a huge bittul of Simchas Shabbos. You know what I'm saying?
If she wants
There's
to
a
go
difference.
so if she wants to go to shul to hear the rabbi's drasha, that's not mitzvah. Then they're not
Depends
tzedek.
which rabbi is giving the drasha then.
Maybe, okay. I'm just saying, to me that,
No, that's not a tzedek.
What's another example?
Most often sheva brachas, if it's a mitzvah, she's going to stay home. That's no mitzvah. Just because they want to sow, they want to eat, got invited, and they want to eat by this family.
The whole Yiddishkeit is the Shabbos shul. If they don't go to shul, that's it.
Yeah, but check, a guy gets invited. They ask other Mishal in general about people who want to socialize,
Okay.
want to go out. So that's not in tzedek. Don't go out. You know what I mean?
Or move to neighborhood with a
It's an Erev.
How did people come to wheelchairs in your show before there was an Erev? They moved themselves.
That's a very good question. That was very few people. One person used to come to the show. But that's a good question.
I used to watch Shabbos, and certain guys go each home, in the hallway of the week, one of the sites of your show.
Now, the teretz is a wheelchair is you're allowed to have some. Let me explain. A person is allowed to wheel himself in a wheelchair. Is. That's his shoes. He can't have something in the wheelchair because just like you can't have carrying in your pocket, you
That's
have
his levush.
his levush. But why can a guy wheel you in a wheelchair? Some guy cannot walk. That's the head that is based. And I was a young child. The Rav of my shul survived the war, but never he was in a wheelchair. And he had someone because if never to go daven in shul and Shabbos is a tzedek gudel.
Oh,
Well, no.
and
Not for the lady, no. A man not to go as a chiv. A lady doesn't have a chiv to go from him. Not to be able to go every Shabbos in shul. That's called a big tzedek.
What if it's hilly? Can you use an electric wheelchair?
So you can push him only the
He cannot push him. It's called carrying.
Oh, but what do you do? Because
It's a shul. It's a shul.
Rabbi Isaacson was the road before you. I was a kid, he used to pull his oxygen behind him. He always had that oxygen.
That was
we used to take oxygen from this is in the mid-70s.
So you used to push it for him.
No, the kids used to, it was a tank on wheels, and we used to come to his house and take it from him to his show. Walk with him to show. It's a
Yeah, but the child is no heter for that. That's you can't be super be dying.
pikuach nefesh.
No. Don't go.
Don't go. The teretz probably is that there is a Shiurim, which I know the Hungarians whenever we say on this. The Shiurim has a big chiddush that carrying the Shisarabim, the child is not in the super die. It's against the Gemara and the Shulchan, but he says it.
It's nice and satsma you're talking about because
Yeah, no, because it's Gemara says clearly you can't tell. But I'm not sure what he was saying. I have no idea.
now a stick is a problem if a wheelchair can be considered as shoes. What
A
about a
person
stick?
cannot walk
Without
without
a stick, then you can walk with a stick.
but that's got to be he cannot walk without a stick.
Not just
One of the reasons there's a mitzvah to make an Eid.
Cannot walk to shul.
One of the reasons some say that it's based on the Gemara and it explains why it's such a mitzvah to make an Eid. Many of the people who use a stick, they really could walk.
since the beginning.
Just an
that-
halacha, if
then
he
they-
walks in the room without a stick, then there's no head to
Right,
stick.
that's a,
No, so the reason, one of the reasons the Srs05 right, I think was the Srs05 right, you should make an Eid because very often, the people who cannot walk carry a stick, which up here, that's not so simple. Okay.
So that you can do to shul, but can you go to somebody else's house after shul to eat and then go home? No, you should just go straight home.
Stay in shul and learn. What's happening?
Oyek Shabbos, Sarach Mitzvah.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. If just to socialize is not a Tzedek Shabbos. Everyone agrees to that, so finish a mood, has to be, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Yeah,
Let's say you People like to socialize. They want, especially you have very young children. There's no one to talk to the kid, right? People have to explain this, but it's not a tzorech Shabbos. It's just you're bored. You like them to have entertainment. Like I said before, if you make sure your father makes sure brachas, your wife cannot come because she's got to take care of the baby. That is literally a tzorech Shabbos. That means she's not going to go hungry, but it's a huge tzorech to be alone. That's a big tzorech. There will be a heter for that.
So you have neighbors across the street. You can't have the shiksa walk the baby across the street or bring food across the street.
I'm just saying.
What if the shiksa works for you and she has to babysit the kids, and if she decides on her own to walk across the street,
That's
something
okay.
else. That's okay.
That's okay.
And if she's going to eat part of the Shabbos meal as well, can she carry that across the street?
For herself, she can do whatever she wants. Yeah, but that's something else. Okay, why I'm saying all this, because the Rav does say, if you look at Rabbi Sheinberg when he quotes this at the Kula, he says not to tell Amaratzim this Kula, because what happens is, history continuously happens, people are the shiksa, they tell the shiksa everything. I've heard, people have told me, usually it's the son-in-laws who get married, they come as this mitzvah, they do the laundry, they wash the floors, there's no heter for that. There is no heter. Even Chalaboy, the shiksa cannot do the laundry, we all spoke about it.
Yes, we did.
And it frustrates many people.
Yes, it happened.
Especially have a bunch of young children.
What about
Okay.
can she put on hot water because it makes it easier for her to wash the dishes and stuff?
That's okay. She puts on hot water for herself. It's okay. That she
Even on
washes.
Shabbos.
Yes, that's no problem. She wants to wash the dishes. She wants it easy for her. It's not a problem.
She can put it on a dishwasher?
Okay, that's also true. She can use a dishwasher.
Why
If it's a
can't
very
you
quiet
dishwasher
dishwasher.
without a washing machine?
Well, why not? Because you're allowed to wash it. You're allowed to tell the shiksa if you tell them to wash the dishes.
Why not?
You can't tell them because dishes you can use. It's only a tircha. Problem with washing dishes is no issa malacha being done. It's only a chana. By goy, whenever there's maybe I'll use it, or maybe for cleanliness or nervousness, but because it's not such a issa. Let me explain this. Comparing from Shabbos to after Shabbos is only a chana. The marshal, if I need one dish, I'm allowed to wash 100 dishes.
On Shabbos?
On Shabbos itself. It's based on the Gemara. I have, you wash all dishes. I really need one dish, one spoon to stir a tea. I'm allowed to wash myself 100 spoons. Because I don't have to choose one of them. So because a chana is a very, I say in English, a low, not such a big, choymedige Sache. Chazal were not so machman with it for that reason. But upon it for that reason, you could have it going to do after Shabbos, the Ketchila, many places know that. I'm allowed to tell the wash the dishes, even though you can wash it after Shabbos. But laundry, you cannot tell the girl to wash laundry. That's an Issa. But the other machine, it's Issa. You're not allowed to take a dirty thing and put it in the, we don't, again, we are so blessed. You know that in the good old days, once upon a time, they used to have diapers, not pants.
To wash them.
And what did the people used to do, says the Shulchan, used to drop the dirty diaper into water. Shulchan screams not to do that, Machal Shabbos. People don't know what diapers is. My children have no idea what diapers is. They know what Pampers is. Diaper? I have a daughter who's teaching high school now, and she's teaching Malachas. She asked me, what was this? What is Tauber using a diaper? What's Tauber? It was a big fuss. Used to have the safety pin to close the diaper if it's called tefillah or not tefillah. She had no idea what the Pope was talking about. Baruch Hashem, you never know.
There's some Shulchan who still do it, by the way.
From preparing from Yom Tov to Shabbos with an Eruv, why does the food have to be prepared enough that everyone should be able to eat the food? If you can wash one dish or 100 dishes, so you can make 1 and 100 by Bishul, we don't do that. By preparing. No, but I'm saying cooking on Yom Tov is not a way.
Yeah, it is. If you cook for Goy, it's a rice. If you cook
For Shabbos for a Yid, it's a Chanukah.
Yeah, well, it's a Mechalik Solution. We pass in that if you're cooking for another day, even after Shabbos, is not from Yom Tov to make the Shabbos. But some, you're showing, well, if I cook from Yontif for the weekdays, it might be Srs05 maybe. Just like you cook from Yontif for Goy, everyone agrees, well, if you have a dog, you cannot cook for the dog. And if you cook, you have a Srs05. You cannot cook for the shiksa. So that's why it's more common. Chana is nothing, washing dishes is nothing wrong.
Washing machine, a cliche left of it, is there, or is it normal
Kedish Machtalis, people move around, just a lot.
with kids, some of the shops, they soil their clothes. I wasn't told, before you close the machine, like, I don't want to smell it, etc. Push the Muktzeh all over.
No, it's a Kedish Machtalis, and it's okay, because I'm washing machine.
Usually throw it in the machine.
If it's dry, yes, that's a.
It's not called Hachana.
No,
It's
she's
either
throwing it
prepared.
out, she doesn't want to smell it, and it's a good place to hide it, and after Shabbos, and that's okay.
Mom, there's no water on it.
As long as
It's
no
like
water.
putting plates in a dishwasher, if that's the case.
Right, same thing, that's a good thing. Okay,
Put plates in a dishwasher in order?
that's just a honey problem, and if the only way to put it in is that way, people tell me they don't have way to put the dishes, only the dishwasher.
Right.
So then you have to just go into the dishwasher, right, it is. Okay, so there are about the Shiurim Psila. Now we can't even imagine this halacha. They would save, like he said, now people still use diapers. They would save a wig. They would save a wig. Now, we already have pre-made for the Hanukkah competition. There's different ones to use that they would save a wig. Imagine. Shiurim Psila shein amdim oid laluka b'neh. They could sew this over living stones. She'usra kalt v'zuri v'goyim. Because it's made to throw away. Psila shleima from the neck is about b'chol and b'shavish over the nikras kelim. The dina kekel shmachtaris. Now the Rav opinion is very important in the way I want to explain something with it. The question is, what is a match? Is a match a keli or a match not a keli? The match is you use it and you throw it away. The Rav Shitta is that even something that gets consumed is called a keli. Because a ned, because the wick is called a keli shmatarisa. Well, it's going to be consumed soon. He calls even a chaylev, a ned of chaylev also keli shmatarisa. A simple candle made out of wax. But even though it's not a hammer, it's not a screwdriver.
It's made for something.
It's made to burn. But as long as it's not burning, it's called a keli shemalachtalis. Not everyone agrees to this, but the Rav, many of the Chalim Shibros holds that way, calls it a keli, even though it's made for consumption. You know what I'm saying?
That's a problem. It shouldn't be a keli because of that.
It should be a keli.
But,
You don't look at it as a
definition of
keli. How do you
is
look as a match? You light it, throw it away. It's only made to win.
Okay, but what's the practical difference?
Well, it's not a keli, then it's not Muslim keep from the Kohen too.
Only-
So
it's
it
not a
may
keli,
you're allowed to, let's say the match is on the typical question always comes up. And I was a newlywed, so till things get organized, my wife would by mistake put the matches down on the table.
Right,
She got
Erev
so
Shabbos.
annoyed, Erev Shabbos. So she didn't want the match to be on the table. So what do? Just sit down, say, I want to learn right here. One of them use this part of day, pick up the matches and put it away. That only works if it's a keli shemalach delisa. But if it's not a keli shemalach delisa, it's a duva shemalach delisa.
Only
You
kalachia.
can't budge.
Only kalachia. You can watch kalachia.
Right. But the regular, you can't pick it up.
It's a mistake. There is, I don't know if it's Chabad or not, but there are candles, little candles, and prepare for the wife. They turn it on, you turn it off.
Yeah, turns on by itself.
But then it's easy for the wife to turn it on.
It's a minute that the men prepare it, even lighting it already, so she shouldn't
So
move
say something else though. What, they have a candle or what?
No, they have the candles, they turn it on before Shabbat, they prepare for the wife. It's
Light.
burned already.
That's singeing it.
That's Erev Shabbos.
But it's not consumed, it's not consumed.
That's based on the Kabbalah. But he's all says the men should prepare the candles.
But he's saying it's,
That's a problem.
once you light it, he's saying it's consumed. But
It's consumed already. So
that's what he's asking, it's not consumed. Doesn't matter.
It's not done.
The husband should take the matches and throw it in the
I
garbage.
thought you mean something else. It came out a few years ago. You bought it from my wife. You have a long silver thing,
That's right.
and it's like what's
A
the
nice light.
A light, and you light the candles, and then you let go. It goes off.
Can you light
You
it?
notice that it's not popular anymore.
Because you keep a woman.
Because the din is we Ashkenazim, not Sfardim, we Ashkenazim light and then make a bracha. So when the last candle you lit, your wife, she's Makabel Shabbos, she cannot blow out the match anymore. That thing was made that you let go of it, it goes out. Understand what happened? You had a thing that, it was very popular for a very short time, and then
She didn't say bracha yet.
Why the Sephardim didn't
There's
say
a
bracha
about
first?
the Sfardim don't have this that Makabel Shabbos.
before the bracha.
I don't know, they make a bracha.
Yeah, I know.
And the light and have mine because they don't hold this whole thing. There's an eitzah, but people make mistakes, and that's what it became.
If they have in mind, the bracha after you light, that's a Sparta thing?
The Ashkenazim have them in here. I can't talk with the Sfardim. I know the Chalvin shit is about it. The Ashkenazim know the last candle you lit becomes Kabbalah Shabbos automatically. That's how the Ashkenazim follow.
No, but then he's asking if you can do malachas after you.
If you have a mind, if we don't do it on a steady basis,
You have it in 12.5 minutes, not
that your wife, if your wife has a mind not to become Shabbos, then it's okay. She got that, you want to drive it to Shul, drive it to the Shul.
Right.
That's okay.
You don't have the whole 18 minutes. You have less than that.
Yeah, but the point is, you're allowed to make the malacha after the Yevet.
But you're saying that wouldn't apply to the putting out the,
That was a daily, weekly basis, we don't make it. This was the Geya, the time of Shulchan Aruch. Women would light the candles, and then they would go to the mikveh. They would make malacha in the mikveh. Shulchan Aruch brings it down.
So they needed to make it tonight.
They would light candles, and they would go scrub in the mikveh. They couldn't, come home. It was the whole. They didn't have
Water at home.
They didn't have 4 showers at home. You know what I mean? Today a house doesn't have 3 showers, it's not a house. You know what I mean? So they didn't have hot water, so they had to go to the bathhouse to make it. You have to go down. So they were light candles, and they had a mind. So the government says, yes, so do it just for the light of the.
They had in mind that they were going to do malacha.
Yes.
They were going to scrub within 18 minutes from when they light the candles.
Right, they lit more than before 18 minutes. Understand? They lit much before 18 minutes. You follow? So late, you can't do the chafif in 18 minutes.
so Rabbi, what's the real difference between a candle using that silver thing or a lighter or a match?
No, the match. How does your wife do? She puts down the match for anything that doesn't blow out.
We should tell our wives to put the matches on.
That's what he said. The matches, your wife
She shouldn't blow it out.
So the match is the ideal,
Right,
match.
she just takes
It's
the
only
match and
gonna
puts it
blow it
down.
Put it down.
I don't know, you're a Svarti, you got to be Svarti, you know you're going to Ashkenazi.
But once
But you don't do this, Svarti, sure.
once the match goes out, she can then take it from the start of the time and move it. Or that's the question.
That's what we're talking about.
According to Alter Rabbi,
Yes. You could. Even not kalachaya. Even not kalachaya.
If you need that place.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. Shmiter Tatsan even aber mit Wolken wenn es muss ich aber Hitze halt stimmt hier mit Wasser scheint es was burning when es muss is becomes Muktzeh the rest of Shabbos he says Gener shum Shabbos hele viele niedrige kwar begonnen with Shabbos aber nicht gekennst nach das. They learn about the candle the light that was burning that becomes Muktzeh itself of the candle. Okay. Kan zu is המוען שבטלת נשום צריך לדוק כמו ששבס וצריך נור שגל עצמי טוען שאין יתטל קש נחדיס אלא כשצריך סור להשתמש בו בשבס עצמי the Rav says a really good thing which many achorim on the subik and they all quote the Rav over there can I betaltel kelim shlach the for the goy the goy says I need a screwdriver the goy next door neighbor comes to you I need a screwdriver. Can I give him a screwdriver? It's a Kedish Mantalissa, Tzarukufim Kavilautu. So can I hand him a screwdriver?
But how is that considered Tzaruk Muhammad?
Tzarukufim. I need it because the guy needs it. So the Rav says that's not called a tzaruk. There was a minig that a guy would knock on the door and ask for a candle. The neighbors. So you cannot give him a candle. The guy needs the candle. The tzaruk of a guy is not called a tzaruk.
But you can allow him to come to your house and take
You
it?
can allow him to come down to show them, but he needs it for himself. But this is a very important quote that Chaim Lahan prays the Chaim does down. I don't know where was this so much gay. I just saw once writing by Nancy Shore was writing gay. I don't know where exactly. But if a guy comes to you, what do you say?
You can give him this for
You cannot.
You cannot.
The Rav says you cannot let him take it himself. Because giving, it has to be Yotzer, not the Goy's Tzor. So the guy needs it. Your construction, maybe one of the guys come to you and say, I need some bunch of hammers for my own work.
You can show him where it is.
You can show him, but you cannot give it to him. So the Rav is talking about the neighbors would come and ask for a candle. Can I borrow a candle? I'll give you an extra Shabbos, another one. So that's called, you cannot pick it up. They should pick it up themselves. Okay, Lamadal. Let me just tell you a famous question from this halacha. If a button falls off, is it Muktzeh or not?
The bottom. If you find it.
So most people say it's Muktzeh. And you're going to find out when this halacha is not so simple.
Why would it say it's Muktzeh? It didn't lose its nashmish.
Well, it's not a keli. It could do nothing.
It was made as a button to begin
right
with.
now, Shabbos, what are you going to do with the button that fell off? It's not a keli. There's nothing you can do with it. But it's a chiddush. Kala keli sheshtem dances. Kviyeben, you have a door. Ben shedera simin atzad. Ben she kisa gav a keli top of the keli. Sparki dalsman. Ben she sparki Shabbos. Sparki kodim Shabbos. Came out in Shabbos and Shabbos. Mittel het halt nooit de Dalbische Huisan, Dallas, Mechiberes, Mekelim, Shgam, Alain, Shem Kelim Agavavian. He says, since the door came off a Keli, since the door wasn't connected to the Keli, and it was connected, it was a Shem Keli, came off, it still has a Shem Keli on it. So a button that came off should have a Shem Keli. The problem is, most people, they lose a button, they don't care about it. So even though you do care, then it's the Muktzeh, that's a many Chroim hold. But if you wear a bankature, it's expensive. But for your wife and button, not so easy to get over. She has a dress and one of those buttons as well. It's got a match. That is not Muktzeh then. That's what the Kohen does.
It's not Shibra Keli.
It's not a Shibra
Because
Keli.
it's going to be put back.
Since it's going to be put back, it's not Muktzeh. So our shirt, Keli, if you have a bankature, it's an expensive button.
I'm not following. If I have a drawer of buttons, are buttons Muktzeh on
It's
Shabbos?
Muktzeh Shabbos for sure.
Why?
But what do you do with it?
It's not a keli shmalach delis, or it's a button.
It's raw material. It's made to be sewn onto
No, but
the
it's
door.
already formed.
Yeah, but it's made to be sewn onto a jar. Right
should
now,
be like a beam.
and nails also made to be knocked in to connect things.
It's not a Keli.
It's not a keli. It's a
Until it
nail.
becomes part of a keli.
Right. A nail is made. A nail is raw material. You don't use a nail by itself. You use a nail to knock into hold things together. So the same thing is what. Same thing with
So
this.
therefore it's not Muktzeh at all, Michlal?
What?
Yeah.
If it falls off and you plan to put it back on,
If it's expensive button,
yeah,
then it's not Muktzeh.
not because it's on kiss.
No,
because you
so this cap is for woman, and you have expensive button on the.
Not expensive, like I said, it's hard to find a matching button.
Especially in LA,
Right.
better find such a button.
Right. So because you're planning to put it back on,
Yes, that is not Muktzeh.
so if a Keli breaks and you're planning to glue it together or something. So
Well, if the original, no, it has to be the original thing still existing. You have a shelf, the knob came off.
No, screw this up.
So the knob is made to put back on.
and you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, it's not Muktzeh, you can put it away.
You can't fix it though.
No, I can't fix it, that's taking money.
So why? I didn't follow. Why not?
Why
If
not?
it's not a keli, so therefore it's Muktzeh
The
apparently.
reason is since Ben Hashmoshes it was attached to a keli, you plan to detach it, so it has a Shem keli. That's
But it fell off before Ben
But
Shmush.
that's the same as a bottle that you throw out on Shabbos. Maybe it's a keli. When you throw it out, it's garbage, but if
throw
it
it
was,
in air Shabbos and throw it out.
no, I understand. If you throw it in air Shabbos, it's no good. I'm saying, if you
Throw
throw
it
a
in
bottle
Shabbos,
on Shabbos,
does not become Muktzeh.
it does not become musa. Would that be, I'm saying,
Same
it's the
idea. Same idea. The Gemara compares these two things. Exactly. Well said. The Gemara compares exactly what you just said. The Gemara compares this to a bottle. You throw out a bottle on Shabbos, not Muktzeh, because
It was a Keli.
it was a keli, and so only to throw it out Erev Shabbos.
Because then it's already like no more keli.
I'm going to go back to what Benny said. If the button falls off before Shabbos,
So it never was when shmushes attached.
It has to be shinkin
When
during Shabbos.
shmushes, that's what it says.
That's not
Kivish Spark B'Shabbos. The Chebek Gavin and Shem Kere Gavin. That's what it.
No, Benjamin Spark of Kodim Shabbos. Mutal, it's clear. Okay. Even if the button falls off before Shabbos, as long as it was already once put on a beged, so it already agav avihan, it gets a shinkin.
So you have two
Benjamin
buttons.
Spark of Kodim Shabbos. Mutal tal lois mad lost.
So you have two buttons that look exactly the same. One was never sewn onto a
Yeah,
bag,
well,
and one
but,
was.
yeah, it doesn't make, yeah, that says even Spark Yer Shabbos.
Clear, yeah.
Because it's.
It was
made,
once.
It was
That's
together with the cake.
That's-
But if you have a drawer full of buttons,
That's different.
if you have young children, and young children today is not going to happen. When I was young, part of the game, we didn't have many toys. Part of the toys is we had buttons, we played with the buttons games. Remember those days? Imagine, try to do it, you don't remember such days. And then when we Muktzeh, my mother would give it to the children when we were really young. Try to tell the children to play with buttons.
How many buttons did it swell down?
What?
So if you have a button inside the button drawer that is not Muktzeh kiss,
Not croissant kiss, not croissant
if
kiss.
you had one, then the drawer is completely Muktzeh.
It's worse. There's
Well,
no
it's
steps.
you don't have to say Chassan kiss. It's raw material.
Like if I had a button that I was planning on sewing on my closet, of buttons that I was planning on, I put it in the drawer, and they're very important because they're hard to get or whatever they are. It's the
So
whole
the
drawer.
bus is still
Well, that's a double, that's a double, that's a double. Depends which is more expensive, right? Woman's buttons, your wife bought buttons on the dress that she needs. That could be very expensive. So
some buttons are $5 each.
right, our buttons are $5 a piece. Some of them.
The dress costs $1,000 $2, so
There's no concern piece, even in that case.
Yeah, I'm saying it's for some kids because you don't want. Yes, if your wife makes a dress and she has buttons, she doesn't want that button to be moved around.
No, but what the other was saying is, it's such a small amount compared to
It does make a difference. It has nothing to do with it. The bottom line is that it buttons you, which is
It's a
expensive.
big concern kiss.
You don't want it to be laying around you. It's some kids. Okay. Al dalsas abayis in sparkim in abayis. Bein shel sparkim b'sham sparkim kol b'sham usel akavle shelo yishem keli aleim b'olam. If the door comes off its hinges, it's Muktzeh. Very important to know that.
Why?
I want to tell another important thing, which many people don't realize. Putting back a screen into its place is a chiyuv chatos. All at once, I notice people that the whole screen comes out and they just put it back in. Because a door, putting back a door into the house is a mamish and that I said it's a binyan. So if you put back the screen that came out, it's very tempting, the screen fell over.
Aside of the fact that it's Muktzeh,
Yeah, I'm just saying, besides,
it's
and putting back the screen is mamish a chiv chatos. And the Kohen Chazonish putting back shades is also chiv chatos. Right, not so much.
Because-
You come, the old shades used to come out. They really do much better. And even my own house, we have the rain came with them falls on it.
So we're not talking about.
You know, I'm talking about shades used to fall out from the socket.
I know the stick inside the shade.
It happens a lot with
Don't think
vertical,
what?
vertical shades, very often they can
Yeah,
come out.
today we still have them. Doesn't fall out no more.
So
Just make it
you pop it
different.
back in, you're saying that that's
Put
building.
it back in. It's called take the building Chazonish shows. Chayiv chatos.
What about fixing one side though?
That's chayiv chatos. You want it to stay as long as it can.
It's anything that's connected to the house is part of it.
And you want it to stay, the value, you have to be very careful.
I'm a little confused here with the doors. When do we say that a door that's,
Door from a keli.
But not from a house. The house
Not
then is
a
Mechubal
door from a keli is not
Oh,
Muktzeh.
oh,
The
jewelry
door of
box,
a
the summon
house
box.
is Muktzeh.
yes, the
Screen
door of
came
the
out.
sun box that came off?
That's okay.
That's okay.
Right.
You can't reattach it.
You can't reattach it, take the moon, but it's not
You move
Muktzeh.
it.
You can put the door back in the.
You can't put the door back. You might, the reason you cannot put the door back, it might fix it, the Mikhail Makav Patash.
But if your door falls off, you have no front door.
No, talk about the house. The house door comes up, it's Muktzeh.
So never was a cable.
Right. So you have no front door. He's saying anybody
So you
can
know,
walk in
front
and
door, you
out.
get a guy to put it back on, and so you're afraid to sleep at night with the front door.
But that's the lock.
That's, yeah, well, that's.
I mean, it'll go in.
It's a guy. What do you do, man, you sleep all night? So we Chazal Mekel, when a big tzayich, you allowed to go to put it
Even by
back.
building,
Yeah, but
They're very mindful.
where you gonna sleep? If it's a huge tzorich,
Even by home.
I made a lock, because it's on the shoes.
Well, I can't tell Amir Lenachem to make myself, make me some soup.
No, it's not so.
No, we learn that by building is the worst
So they
thing.
make me chicken soup? No.
We eat potato chips.
Isn't it a big loss also?
We're talking about, he's asking a practical question, you know, how's.
We don't have a front door.
We don't have a
In
front
Brazil.
door.
Right.
How many children do you have? Can I know?
Five.
Can I know? Imagine the door comes out, you gotta find someplace to take all your 5 children. How's that gonna work?
Well, on the flip side, if you forgot your keys, you could get in if you take off the screen.
No, we can't do that. So it's.
Wait, you can't
It's
even
very
take off the
important.
screen?
I like the
question.
question. This is very good what he just said. This could be so typical. A guy locked himself out of the house.
Right.
And so he needs a key now. So one of the best ways, just take off the screen, or go through the window. Taking off the screen is called seisa.
What is that?
Taking apart. Boinas amalocha, seisa amalocha. Seisa.
Taking apart.
Taking apart. One of the lamates malocha is boina, and one of the lamates is seisa. Seisa not sleepness. But the taking it off is touching. And
Now, this is not just not sleepless.
There is. You want
Because you can put
play this and say it is. Because by the Mishkan, they took it apart, they put it back up.
God, if you say good clear.
But he says you should destroy it.
The rights that they take
Well,
off.
you know,
No matter
when
what.
you break the door, they take it out. Can't take the door down now.
That's what they sold together.
So what do you do?
You go to a shop.
So what? You go to a-
What if you just, yeah.
And
2% can take it off?
Ask a question.
2%.
No, we're not saying that.
We can do that.
We're not saying. You asked a good question. We know that Shnam sees Keturah, so maybe 2 people can take it off. The reason we're not saying on that, we're not saying on Shnam see that they are doing it only because we're never saying on a person doing it himself and shoes the shoes. Only saying on a goy shoes the shoes. You understand? By you doing 2 derabbanums, we don't say it's anyways a derabbanum, and it's anyway Shnam see it's 2 derabbanums. We never say that you can do it on 2 derabbanums. Follow?
It won't be high cut,
What you say?
It won't be high cut.
You want me to have cards? Right. Very well said. Aber ich achte, spart in die Stammschwert, wir schauen uns ab, ich kann entweder
What about a kid? Can a kid do it? The kid take off the screen?
Let me set the record straight.
Mike did the same, it's the same thing, so.
You cannot tell a child to do something if the child is not good because you told him to do it. So you can't tell a child to bring the chumash to shul. You can't tell a child, I remind myself, the minute was by the Polish Shiurim that they have the candies because I'm not telling you to do it for me, the child is doing it for himself. If it's lo yigi lechenach,
Well, if you lock
someone
outside
say
the house.
lo yigi lechenach, I remind myself, I couldn't remind myself Chiddush Shiurim. But the Chiddush Shiurim, the Chiddush was this way. If you tell a child, used to bring the children, I was growing up, we always remember with this, but the Polish Shiurim would bring the children, would bring Nash back to shul, and the Hungarians didn't. You know, they didn't. Yeah. So the heter was based, and I'm years later, remember, the heter was based, the Chiddush Shiurim says, if I tell the child to bring something for me, even though lo yigi lechenach is awesome. But if I tell the child, bring yourself nash for yourself, not that it for me, if it's lo yigi lechenach, it's okay. Before 6, it was
Let's
about
go back
5
to the
years.
screen. Danny wanted to ask. If the
So
kid-
you tell the child to take off the screen, you tell the child does it for you, not for himself.
For him, no, he has to sleep in the
I
house
think
also.
you sit outside
Where's
and
he gonna
showers
sleep?
all day long. I got 5 kids.
Five.
The kid has to get into the house.
The 5-year-old doesn't have that perception yet. He with candies, nash. You know, you have a 5-year-old. He knows not what nash is all about.
Sleeping in bed,
Sleeping in
That
bed.
5-year-old gets hungry when dinner time. If we're locked out of the house.
Yeah, but
Trust me, he says,
yeah,
"Tati, I want some food."
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm saying.
I say, hey, climb into the window, you get some food.
One second.
It's not for him ultimately, because it's
No,
it's
no,
not a
he's-
specific thing for him, it's really for,
The child is doing it for you. If you tell the child you're hungry, so go take the screen off. You're right. If you tell him you're hungry, climb it and get food.
That's it.
But I'm just saying, the people have this telling children is
Okay,
no heter. Telling the children, people to put on the light. You're allowed to have a baby play there and might turn off the light. You can't tell the child to turn off the light, to turn on the light. Though. Someone just also asked me to show us something like that. There's a many by having the family tell the children to do everything. There's no such a had to. It's a maratzis. That's what the Rav says 3 times. That's just simple maratzis.
You're saying specifically screen. Is it?
That's a mushroom.
You said screen and he answered your question. Then you're throwing it in. Right. It could be anything.
Anything, right. That's a very good, that's what I like in mushroom. That could be a very practical thing. The screen falls off and, the window, it's Shabbos, and the bees and mosquitoes to come in, just want to put up the screen.
Let's start from a comment. Can you move it? Like, for example, let's say you have 2 doors and one of the doors kind of falls off, it's blocking, you can't get out of the house. Can you move the door out of the way? Or the screen out of the way if you need the place? The screen falls into the house.
Screen door fell in. What happened? The screen door fell in, you say?
The screen door fell in or the screen fell into the house, you need to start
You'd have to make another klaf.
Yeah, not certain kind of. It's not a keli.
But a screen is a keli. I mean, the screen is
attached.
a
The screen door is attached to the door. It's not a keli.
Then nothing is a keli.
Only from a keli. Screen door of a keli would be a keli.
No, but a screen on a window is its own.
It's attached to the house building. That's called attached.
But it has its own. It's its own thing.
Yes, so it is not a keli. It comes attached to the building. It's boina, soisa.
The screw has no use if it's not attached to
I'm
something.
saying, even though nowadays we just slip it in the screen. But the Chazonish means a raya bruda from the Gemara, that's called boina. The Gemara says that they used to build a house, but for some reason, I have no idea why, the last brick they would not use cement. To me, it's a chiddush because the windows. I don't know. That's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says they built a tall building. For some reason, the top they would not cement that last brick. So the Gemara says it's called boina because you're going to leave it there forever, even though you're not cementing it. It's a loose brick, but you put it down. So the same thing says the Zonish, you put a screen in, even though it's not cemented in. You know what I mean? But the fact that you want it should be there, it's called buying it. Taking out a scheme is called say
So the Rebbe made a campaign that we should build our houses, and he says that hacking a pushkin in the kitchen is building. It's not the same idea. If it was anything that you attach to something that's gavoy, he wanted people to build, he says he can't afford it, he wanted to put a pushkin in the kitchen with a nail. Opinions.
Yes.
If you have a door that's not attached, with hinges just pushed against, you pull it out and push it back.
It's made that way. I mean, because you never fixed it. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, people have that, and it's not Muktzeh. You've been using it that way the whole time for the last few weeks.
But you didn't designate it. If your screen fell off on a Thursday and you're using it like that,
screen is not. But let's say this is a mushroom, which I can imagine.
I'm saying your door falls off on a Thursday and you've been using it Thursday, Friday. You're waiting for the guy to come next week.
If you want the door to be fixed, then it's also. But often the people who can't afford it, they use the door this way. Pick it up and take it off. I remember now that there's such a picture comes to mind. I remember a guy having to go that way. Pick it up, take it up. If the guy uses it that way, then that's how he uses it.
It's okay, not building it.
But you didn't designate it.
Even though you're doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but if you're doing it all the time.
But it's like exactly
You can't hang it, just put it up in the frame. You can't.
put it back in the doorway.
The shot is very stiff. The sliding doors, it slips off his track.
That's a very good mashal. The sliding doors to put it back under the track is a coin to Chazanish. Issa the rice not just the Chazanish, everyone agrees with just the Chazanish. I remember the first time when I was young, I read it there for the first time. Mind us about this. The sliding doors, that it's very common.
A closet door too? That's still considered part of the house?
Yeah.
The sliding door.
Even the inside of the house.
So that's a very good mushroom. Comes out, and if you have young children, a bunch of boys, it's going to come out. Boys are boys, and putting it back in is a malachadaris.
Is this only if there's like hinges or anything? Like there's some screens there, like at my house. It doesn't go in. And
Did you not hear what you just said?
Just rollers.
Velcro.
You just talked about the brick where there was no cement.
There's nothing to do with the brick. This is how it's made.
It doesn't have to be stuck. That's what you said. If it goes in, that's building.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
No.
We respect each other here, but just it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it does make a difference how it's made to stay there, right?
Yeah.
That's a chiddush, even though you don't, it's not nailed in, it's not hinged
It's not,
in.
it's separate, what I'm saying is that it's separate from,
I know, our students also, my
okay,
house
so
is
it's
separate.
part of it is what
It's
you're
a
saying.
separate thing, it's called baina. This is a very, very typical thing.
If you have a drawer, you pulled it too hard and it came out like a cabinet or the wall, it's the same problem then, no?
Well, there's no binyan, and a K binyan we can't we're gonna learn that later.
Even though it's connected to the house.
Yeah, that was, no.
You have to give a case of built-in drawer,
A
you know.
built-in drawer in the house.
Like in your kitchen.
Desk.
Is what?
No, drawer in the cabinets, wall cabinets,
Wall cabinets, then it's a problem. Came out, you can't put it back in. It came out of the
whole thing.
But think about your kitchen. You know, the kitchens are all built in.
Correct?
And if it came out of the thing, and now you just want to slide it back in, you cannot do it.
Wow.
But if it's
That's a track, that's what it's called.
if it's a detached cabinet, it's different.
It's different. But if you have it on a track, you know what I mean, which wall everyone has it. I grew up, we didn't have it when I was very young. It used to come out the whole thing. You know, but if it doesn't, if it's on the track, somehow lately you haven't seen it come out. And you remember years
Because
ago,
your kids
tracks.
grew older, Rabbi Tauber.
It's not on a track, it's not a problem?
It's not a track, it's not a problem, but if it's with the track, maybe most of my children are girls, so maybe that's why. But
If it's not on a track, the reason you're saying it's not a problem is because that's the way it's
that's
supposed to be
what it
used.
comes out anyways. It comes out, but off the track, that's not like an appointment. I know you have a hard time digesting it.
That was what the Gemara said with the brick. What do you?
If the drawer is attached to the kitchen wall, it's a built-in cabinet, right? So why would it be any different than the screen? Track would be big.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
That's exactly the
I'm
same.
saying that forget it, you don't need a track. If the drawer falls out, you
No, it's made to pull out. You can pull it out to the.
The on-tracks were made to pull out. It was never connected.
Never made not to
Never
pull out.
connected.
It's made, you know. I remember when I was young, the parents didn't have on track. We used to hide things underneath it. You know what I mean? Used to hide in my bed. You don't know why I used to live on the hiding place.
Wouldn't a drawer be considered a keli though?
Yeah, it is a cave. That's no
So
problem.
there's a difference.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if it's built into the house,
Right.
it's what he wants, the kitchen cabinet, which is very built. If it's not on the track, then it's made to pull out. But if it's on a track and it came off the track, we're gonna put it back into the track, that's called,
Sign Muktzeh both and Muktzeh on top. Muktzeh and binyan.
Is pulling it off the track,
this, correct? It's made to be this
Even
way.
if it's sugar.
You mean the karmachatas? That's what we're saying. Sheish Rafal. They don't get cutters.
It's like an electronic, I know you're not supposed to use an electronic device, but what if it's something that is connected to the house through like a wire through the wall, but it's not necessarily connected to cement? What is connected to the house mean?
Correct, that means like the drawer in the house. That's
Immovable.
It's connected to the walls of the house.
Like, the wire is not connected.
So it's through the wall. Okay, so the wall is where, so it's the physical being of the house.
Right.
It's on a track, it comes easily right out.
See, the fridge also has a track. The fridge is not attached to the wall. A regular fridge. Now people have built-in fridge. But I'm saying regular fridge, it's not a problem.
Sub-Zeros are built in.
The built-in, now people, like in my neighborhood, everyone who makes a kitchen is
Built-in fridges.
built-in.
And if they move the racks, then you can open it.
No, it's a problem because that's mom's built-in.
If you move the racks.
No. I'm saying the racks in the fridge, they're not connected. They're just laying on top.
Our ones with tracks too.
With the tracks. If the tracks.
Our ones with the track, we have.
No, but a drawer, they have these racks that you put it in
I'm
place.
talking about that. I'm talking
Why should that not be a problem?
That is a problem.
It is a problem.
It is a problem. Even that's a problem with the built-in fridge.
A built-in fridge, it doesn't have a track, you just place it in and it hooks in.
And you want to leave it at full length space.
Right, and
That's called boine according to.
so if it comes out on Shabbos, because it's bumped out, you can't put it back.
Oh, what's that? Or in the
Hammer
city.
just said,
Yeah.
if you have a built-in, not
You started something.
how's it called, a built-in fridge? The real.
Sub-Zeros. Let's go with that.
So that is the built-in fridge, so if some of the drawer just just slip it into a slot like, and it lays there. It's not like, it's not with a fancy track, just we have a,
Right.
so that, according to Chazanish, since it's made to stay there,
That's only a problem if it's built into the wall. If it's not built into the wall, then it's
Then it's a
okay.
keli and a keli, it's not a problem. It's
Then it's
not
the Sekelim, though.
We're gonna learn later why by keli it's a whole different sugya.
He's saying the fancy house.
Fridge is a problem is here now, like you open the fridge, no, you want something different.
The fridge,
It stopped turning on and all kinds of.
no, the truth is, he asked the question, can you open a fridge Shabbos? The Machmira. But I asked them a question, I always ask the Machmira, do you live in New York and you have steam, so how do you come in from the street?
Open the door.
You open the door. Right now in Chicago, you open the door and you're in trouble, right?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Chicago.
What did he tell you?
And no, I don't have none of them have an answer. If you can't open a fridge,
can't open
it's
the
a
door.
lot worse a house, because when the house, the fire goes on. The fridge, only a motor goes on. Not everyone agrees a motor is the dreiser, so most of the Rabbanon. Fire, it means if the temperature drops because you open the door and air rushes in, then it goes up, the steam will turn on again. You made a fire shot.
It's a good idea.
It's a goyim, it's a direct, it's an obsecration. So there are people machmir, and that's a soul. I don't know. There are people.
They don't
The
like
people
people
who
They open it when they hear the
They
motors on.
only open when they hear the motors go. Even Chabad Casino, I heard this from many.
Yeah, Rabbi Marlowe was machmir.
What?
Rabbi Marlowe, Karnait, was very machmir about him in his own house. He had a holy one in his own house.
So where did he live in Crown Heights?
The Rav of Crown Heights, yeah.
He lived in a, so it was bitter cold. So he never walked outside the house. So how did that work?
He lived in the park.
We waited till the heater was on.
He lived in the park building, he didn't have to go to the street. I was there Friday night and we waited an hour for the fridge to go on.
They just didn't want you guys back, that's why.
Yeah, okay. They live in an apartment house, a good answer, but if you don't live in an apartment house, and if you're living in an apartment house in Chicago, it's not going to help you. Or Toronto, it's bitter cold. You can live in an apartment house, but I remember growing up in New York City, the apartment houses, the hallways were freezing cold. There's no steam in the hallways. Anyways, that's why it's, halacha, it's okay. It's hard to say it's not okay. It's very difficult to say. Okay.
Because there's no choice?
No, because it's a drama. There is a reason why it's okay. It's a drama, it's not a secretion. I will maybe one time give a whole shit about it, why. But it's a drama, it's a whole long conversation, and it's very tedious, so I'll have to spend time with it. Because many of the things today work that way. They're like walking on the street and the lights go on. In Palo Alto, it's a huge problem. The people in Palo Alto, the people in Palo Alto decided that they don't want to have lights burning, so they don't have the lights burning when you pass by.
The city lights.
The city lights.
Not the street lights.
City street lights.
But that you said is a problem.
That's a huge problem.
Because it's secretion.
Well, not because so much related, learn because of secretion. Yeah, we'll give a whole sheet.
So what would be the heter there?
There is really no heter.
So
I told the rabbi there, I went to make the 8 of this, so I forgot about
Yes,
Rabbi Shleif, the 11 next week. I said, you can't come to shul Friday night.
So what did he say? What did he say? His brother's a big Rav in Australia. What did he say?
We was arguing about the 8, and I told the 8 was good too, so we argued a lot that day. But I told him, that's not an answer just because the people cannot come to shul. That's a weak answer. The reason why it's also, that I can explain is simple. Even though it's impossible to tell me you don't have a mind, it's pitch dark, and there's some of the streets. So you're quite happy the light goes on. Can't say, you'll be a guest there. So guess what? Rabbi said, look what's going to happen in a minute. The light is going to go on. Rabbi said I could do it. Of course you want it. It's pitch dark. It's mamish pitch dark. I will walk along the streets then.
In the middle of Chodesh, with the Ravana. Why are you laughing? No, there's a big difference. If you could have survived without it, so then it's not benefiting from it so much.
So once
People are doing it. You have to find the.
Can you send the sheets ahead of you?
Yeah, but that's a mirror lock, and again, it's
I
not.
tell him Friday, you gotta walk, and I walk, you walk ahead of me. It's a minefield, you're walking ahead of me.
You just gotta
this.
sliding doors.
There's very wealthy people in my neighborhood for a while, and Baruch Hashem lately they don't have so many hold-ups. If Friday night they would always have a God walk with them. And you know that.
But that's already pikuach nefesh, no? In Brazil, it's pikuach nefesh lunch. Huh?
Then don't go to shul. But it didn't tell him to jog, it didn't tell him to take a car. He could walk, the God could walk, he just wants to take a car. He's the guy next to him.
Yeah, but if you're
over here, but one of the very wealthy people, every Friday night, they would go to shul
With the car.
and then God walking or driving on the
Right.
So he's asking practical, maybe can I tell the shiksa, but I'm telling her to do it because he put the lights on for me. That's not so
Tell me
simple.
for Shabbos.
No, it's not to put on the lights for me.
So basically
So I won't put on the lights.
Why the sheep is not gonna
I
fall in
want the
her face?
lights also.
But I don't, I want to
Can't
get to
you-
shul, I don't
It's
care about
pitch
the
dark.
lights.
Rabbi, can't you first of all,
It's pitch dark.
no one's going to shul at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. You're going to shul at between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night. You can be silent that there's going to be other people outside and they're going to be turning on the lights. If you happen to bump into one, you bump into one.
Halal is not LA. It's
Even in LA, people.
there are many of these streets, over here, it's not
You don't see in the
walks.
shul.
Yeah.
Not see in the summer. Remember when I first moved here?
If it's not walks, if a car is driving
No,
down the
Benny,
street,
when
it's
you
going to
walk
turn on the
a
lights.
side street, there's no people there.
No people, no cars.
What if you have them
I
carrying
know
a
which street you
flashlight?
live in. How many cars come down the street? This busy street?
Not that many.
But Rabbi, it was high school.
When the sheep is walking, she would also leave the lights and walk. It's
Yeah,
pretty
but
close.
she's walking for me.
No, if she would not have the light, she would.
She has nowhere to go. She's not going anywhere.
She's not going anywhere.
She's coming to shul, she's.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.